What's up, Nate?
What's up, man? How are you?
I'm doing well. Had
Good.
a bit of a hectic morning, but nothing we can't overcome.
That's it. Yeah. We're here now
Yeah.
in the studio shop.
Yes, sir. You still sounding a little bit stuffy.
Yeah, still got a little bit of a cold, but we're getting through it. So it
Man
doesn't
up, dude.
it doesn't slow me. Yeah, it doesn't slow me down. Hey, we ran while I was sick. So
That's true. You did. You suffered up with that cold the other day when we ran 6.5 miles.
Yeah, I don't think it helped. I was hoping it did, but
I don't think it hurt either.
yeah, I gotta
No.
stay moving.
You can't just sit around when you got a cold. That'll just make it worse.
That's right.
I
So
don't know.
pardon my voice while we record today. So
Yeah. We'll let it slide today.
fair enough. What are we
Well,
talking about today?
Today we're going to talk about why we run, why we do anything challenging, really.
That's a really good question. Why do we run? Some days I wonder
Got some
myself.
screws loose.
Yeah. Hey, not just run, but like we're gonna run these stupid distances.
Yeah.
I mean,
Or we're going to try and get top 3 on a stupid race.
yeah, right.
That means nothing.
On a leftover race.
Yeah, so and not just running, but why do we do anything hard that we do?
Yeah,
There's
that's
there's something about these challenging things that are calling us that we're drawn to.
yeah,
So today we're going to dive into what we think the reason is. If you ask other people, they might just say we're crazy.
yeah.
Or dumb.
You could insert anything in here. It doesn't have to be running. Why do you do triathlons? Why do
Yeah.
you do some, whatever? Why do you anything that's hard physically
Yeah, or mentally.
or mentally?
Yeah, anything
Yeah.
that's hard for you. Why do you go to school?
Yeah.
If you're in college or something and you're choosing to
Mhm.
do that, why do you do that? Obviously, there's a number of reasons that anybody would do things, but I think what we're getting at here is why do we do hard things?
Yeah.
Why do you put yourself through that? So, really, I guess in essence, it would be why do you suffer
Yeah. Well, I mean,
voluntarily?
yeah. I mean, obviously the name of this podcast is the Suffer Up Podcast. But the art or I say the art of suffering.
Yeah.
You look at scriptural references, obviously we're not called to suffer, like that's not God's design. However,
It's not his plan.
it's not his plan, but there's always going to be sufferings in life that are going to
I think I said that wrong. I think the way you said it was better. It's not his design.
yeah.
It's not his design for us to suffer, but ever since the fall of man in the garden,
Mm-hmm.
suffering is now a part of the plan.
Right.
Um,
So how do you suffer with a purpose?
yeah. And
And so
obviously, God sent Jesus to suffer more than anyone on this planet
right.
ever has or will,
Yeah.
and be the ultimate sacrifice. So, I mean, we can wrap this up real quick and just say that that's the
Yep.
reason that we do it. We're called to live like Jesus. Jesus suffered
Yeah.
more than
Have a
anybody
nice day.
can.
That's it. Yeah.
So yeah, we're just trying to be like Jesus and suffer.
Yeah.
That's the real answer, but I think that it goes deeper than that. There's more to it.
Yeah. The way to your sin is ultimately death, right? And Jesus died on the cross for our sins, that those who believe and accept the gift that he's given to us, and which is eternal salvation, if you accept those gifts into your heart, you will be saved from
Death,
which is
From
eternity
death.
in hell,
but not from suffering.
or not from suffering, right?
In
There's
this
hope.
life,
There's hope there.
in this life, there's still going to be
Yeah.
sufferings and challenges.
I alluded to it a little bit in the My Story episode, but we'll take that as like a foundation, at least both of our stories really, but you're taking that as a foundation of, I would say, to kind of tie it back to the why do we run, I would say that it's a productive outlet.
Yeah.
So it's like, for me, when I found running again, it gave me an outlet to be able to process some of the emotions and some of the stress and the anxieties that I've had. Because when I strap my shoes on in the morning and I go out and I run, it gives me time to process. And each run is a journey. Just like in life, we have a journey that we are constantly living day by day, and each day is just a page of the book of life. But when I put my shoes on and I go run in solitude, it's time for me to process things that are going on, and it allows me like you're going to hit a hard spot in your run, almost every run, no matter what distance. We can run these crazy distances, but then even on like a training day and you go out and run 4-6 miles, you still hit a little bit of a spot where you're like, man, why does this not feel so good? I just ran 10, 12, 13 miles the other day. Why does this one not feel so good? And that's a hard patch. And so when you hit those hard patches,
or it may not even be the run itself.
yeah,
It may be you talking to yourself in your head before the run going, I really don't need to run. I'm only going to run 2 miles today.
Yeah.
It's just a little 2-mile run. I really don't need to do that. Or if you don't run and you're a lifter or something like, oh, I don't have to go to the gym today. I can
Yeah.
skip that. Well, then your hard thing that you're forcing yourself to do is to go to the gym. It's to show up.
Yep.
Sometimes that's the hardest part, but to your point, that's it. That's the reason is that you're gonna hit that point, and then you're gonna go beyond that.
Yeah, you're gonna push through that hurdle, that wall.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny because a little bit. It's not off topic, but I just started a 6-week weightlifting thing. It's doing like Olympic lifts. It's like creating building blocks for the Olympic lifts and stuff. So
Nate's trying to be everything. He wants to be
yeah,
a
just
good
trying to
runner,
be more
an
well-rounded.
Olympic lifter.
Yeah, well, I'm not a strong guy. I'm trying to be more well-rounded, So
If he can't
anyway,
beat me in running, he's gonna try and beat me in lifting.
yeah. Well, yeah, why not?
That shouldn't be hard, right?
Why not? But I was doing the front squat, and I hadn't really ever front squatted until this program, and I'm on week 2. And so when I'm doing the front squat, this week was 70% of my max. And so when I was doing the front squat, and it increased from a 3x5 to a 3x10, so you're doing 10 reps instead of 5 at 70% of your max.
Yeah, you doubled.
Yeah.
I mean, you doubled the reps from last week.
Correct. And so I'm like, okay, here we go. Well, when I got to the front squat and I'm getting down, and like the first 6 were okay, but from 6 to 10 were horrible. And so like each rep, I have to mentally process of like, okay, I'm going to go down and I'm going to come back up. All right, that one's done. And then 1 rep at a time. And anyway, I'm like kind of screaming through some of these reps because they hurt really bad. And somebody comes out. Actually, my buddy Zach, he comes out and he's like, you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm panting hard. I can see the stars. He's like, well, did you win? I said, oh yeah, I won. I beat that weight. But it's just the point of, yeah, I won that victory of moving that weight. And so that compoundingness of, okay.
Little wins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, so when I run, it's a journey. It takes time. And a lot of times each day is different. So I might only have time to run for an hour. So I'm going to try to get to that hard place at some point during my run.
Yeah.
And be able to get through that hard bit.
I like what you said there, that like each day is different, because one day that little win might be putting on your running shoes and actually going for the run.
Oh, yeah.
One day that hard point, that little win might be you running a really fast mile.
Yeah.
And getting your heart rate up there. Or one day it might be doing the 6-mile run when you only wanted to do 4 or 5. So every day it's different. It doesn't have to be the same hard thing every day, but the action of showing up and doing that hard thing and moving past it,
yeah,
that's what creates the growth that we're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And why are we looking for that growth? Well, that goes back to that topic in the beginning of we're going to suffer while we're here on this earth. And how do we equip ourselves to handle the sufferings that are out of our control? Well, we train for it just like we train for anything else.
Yeah.
You got to practice suffering so that when suffering comes along, you know how to handle it.
Yeah, you can look at it in the eyes and be like, I know who you are right now, and I'm not going to let it defeat me.
Been there.
Seen you before. I know who you are.
What happens?
Be gone.
Yeah, be gone. Get out of my face.
Satan. Yeah, no, like
squash Satan.
Yeah, just be gone. I don't want anything to do with you because I'm going to be victorious in this moment right now. That could be anything. It could be, you could, in your speech, wanting to have a quick, harsh answer. I alluded to like old Nate would be just super aggressive and angry and want to just bite at whatever somebody said to me. But it's like, okay, that's cool, man. Sorry you feel that way. can we move on from this? You know, like
Yeah.
it's just not the same anymore. And it just allows me to kind of, it's almost like taking a pill for me. You know, like I go out and I run, and
Doing
that's my
runs
pill.
and exercises. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my pill. Like if I don't run, even Lauren will say, "You need to go run." Like I know I need to. It's been, honestly, if it's been more than 36 hours without a run,
Yeah.
Lauren can tell now. Like,
I noticed that not just in you, but in myself big
Yeah.
time recently when I had that injury that, yeah, I can't run for like 3 or 4 days.
yeah,
I was not supposed to run for longer than that, but
yeah,
at some point I gave up on not running and I was like, I got to do something.
yeah.
It's killing me. It's
Mhm.
eating me alive.
But I think you learned more during that time
Yeah,
than you realized.
that was my hard thing during that period.
Was not running.
Was not running.
Mhm.
So it's very contrary to what you're saying, but sometimes not doing the thing is the hard thing.
Yeah. But that's
You know?
because like it's become part of your daily,
Yeah.
Routine, working out, running.
It's not hard for me to put my running shoes on and go for a run anymore.
Yeah.
Now, a distance may be challenging. Like
Sure.
yesterday, we ran for an hour. I wasn't really planning on running for an hour, so that was the hard thing for me, was going beyond the 45-minute mark or whenever I was expecting to stop. But just putting on my shoes and running out the door, that's not a hard thing. It was much more challenging for me to sit still and actually take the rest that my body needed to heal.
Yeah. No, and rest is a whole important aspect too, of course. But yeah, I think that was more mentally trying because you didn't have your outlet anymore. So for a little while, for that season,
Yeah. What do you think happens when we don't purposely put ourselves through that that hard thing?
Yeah. So men, we're we're destructive people. Like we have, you look back, we're really built to be warriors, right? I mean, since the beginning of time, men have fought and men have destroyed things when they aren't being constructive with themselves. And the proverbial saying of like, an idle mind is the devil's workshop. It ties back. That's not like word for word in scripture, but it's alluded to in Proverbs 16, I believe. Just talking about being idle with your hands and your mind, and how that if you aren't filling your mind with good things, you'll eventually be filled with bad things or destructive things.
I think that goes all the way back to, again, the Garden of Eden. Like God gave us a job right out the gate, that you're to take care of this land.
Yeah.
And, he had Adam naming stuff right after he created him.
Yeah.
I mean, he gave him a job instantly. You're going to name all these animals. Okay, cool. So we were given a purpose, given a job to do from the very beginning. And when we're not performing that job or a job that we're given, I think, it leads to bad things. If you're just wandering around the garden looking for something to do, you're much more likely to be tempted by that serpent. And there's a good book by John Eldridge called Wild at Heart. In it, he talks about men specifically needing 3 things in their life. You need a battle to fight, an adventure to live, and a beauty to rescue. And he alludes to exactly what you said about being a warrior, that the battle to fight, we are called, we're made in God's image. And in Exodus 15, it says, the Lord is a warrior, the Lord is his name. And God is a warrior. God can smack down the devil.
Yeah.
He can beat anyone at anything. So, I mean, the guy's a warrior and we're made in his image. We are created for battles.
Yeah. And I mean, there's obviously a battle here too, and that is, again, it's essentially spiritual warfare.
Absolutely.
We're constantly fighting against what the devil wants. He comes creeping like in the night.
Yeah. Do you see that warrior aspect in your son as a little boy?
Kinda. Yeah. I mean, he's constantly trying to push the limit.
Yeah.
Try to jump off the couch at a new height or something. He's always trying to figure something out, and he gets frustrated when he can't figure it out. And
I think little kids are coolest because they're I'm not gonna say they're immune, but a spiritual battle, I don't feel like starts with them that young, because if the devil's gonna attack someone, it's gonna be the parents.
Yeah.
And obviously that's going to change the child. But the kid is just so pure.
Yeah.
Kids are just
The
who they
innocence.
are. They're innocent and they're pure. And I think that as a little boy, you can really see that warrior heart.
Oh yeah.
That boy wants to fight, but not to be mean, not to
No.
harm things. He just loves the action.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's definitely in our DNA
Yeah.
to constantly fight for something and strive for something. And I mean, think about back in your life, any bad thing that's ever started with an idle thing, idle time,
Yep.
whatever that is. If you fill it with good, constructive things, and if you don't have the regimented day like we've talked about, or the discipline of the mind, and being able to fill your time with and having that structure, if you're not filling it with good things, then bad things can come. So ward off those bad things and just fill it with good things.
Yeah.
And for me, being able to process a lot of the mind and physicalness, obviously, has all kind of come back to running and working out, trying to stay in shape, trying to be better each and every day. But the days that I can't go run, I become more frustrated. I become more or I guess I become weaker as far as my daily walk. So if I don't have my morning routine down pat and I don't hit those things, it allows other things to fill its place and things that I don't want in my life anymore. Like I said before, I don't want to see the old Nate again.
Yeah.
And so if I don't, in order to mitigate that, I run for my family. I run for the people around me, and I run for God. Like I want this sport that I enjoy doing to be honoring to Him. And just like on a run, it's a journey. You start off, your legs are a little sore, you feel got a little hitch in your giddy up. But then as you get going, you get your stride. And then all of a sudden you hit kind of a wall. Well, maybe you needed to drink more. Maybe you needed to eat more. Well, you could metaphorically say, oh, it's time for me to eat. We're an hour into this.
Mm-hmm.
What are we putting into our bodies? Okay, now it's time for me to eat because I'm starting to crash. Like I need sugar in my body carbohydrates in order to keep.
So this physical battle of running is a good metaphor for the spiritual battle of your life, really.
Yeah. Like, okay, cool. I had my breakfast that morning. That breakfast is going to carry me for 35 minutes to an hour. Okay, now I've hit that point, and now I'm starting to taper. I need to tie it to the metaphor. I need to ask God for help. I need to turn to Him. Okay, well, that's my food. I'm putting that food in my body. Okay, I'm refueled. I'm ready to go. Let's push on for another hour. And that the time doesn't really matter. Well, it does matter, but it's at the end of the day, it's like I'm putting things in my body in order to have a desired output.
Yep.
And
it's a practice of doing that.
Yeah. You can learn lessons from the runs, And then when we did the death by 5K,
mm-hmm.
the nighttime hours were the hardest ones for me. When my legs hurt, my body hurts, my mind is getting tired because I've been up for 24 hours. Well, at that time, it's like 20 hours. And I needed to reach for something in order to get me through that moment. And obviously, we both made it through.
Yep.
And I know now, like, okay, sleep deprived. I've been sleep deprived multiple times through my job. Okay, how did I get through that? How did I navigate it? Well, I feel my body. I prayed and talked to God. Coffee. Yeah, I had some caffeine at night. Little things like that in order to get you through. Yeah. So each run's a journey, and I've learned more through my running than I have not running.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that idle time is very inefficient or just very useless.
Yeah.
at creating any kind of growth or anything.
Zero productivity.
If you do nothing, you should expect to get nothing.
Yeah.
Zero in, zero out. So if you want to grow, if you want to improve your life and become more Christ-like, then yeah, you need to practice that. And if it's running, then great. If it's going to the gym, cool. Yeah. If it's going back to school and learning more, whatever it may be, you need to challenge yourself.
Yeah.
To grow.
Push your boundaries.
Yeah.
But then each time that the boundaries are pushed, that's a win. And it's small victories.
And all those small victories compound into massive victory in the end.
Yeah.
If you change 1%, if you got 1% better, I should say, every day for a year,
Yeah.
you'd be a whole new person at the end of the year.
Yep.
365% better.
Yep.
That's incredible.
Takes time, right?
Yeah. I mean, even if it was 1% better every week,
Yeah.
you're 52% better at the end of the year.
Yeah.
It's just the consistent little wins
Yeah.
that'll get you there.
Yeah. For sure. And I mean, with all of that, like our why and why we run is a pretty big topic, right?
Yeah. But it's
But-
also very simple.
Yeah.
We run because we want to get better.
Yeah.
Not just at running.
Right.
I guess that's the main point, is it's not all about running.
Run
It's
this.
about so much more than that.
Yes. You run this race that's set before you. And the race before us could be anything. It's just the race of life at the end of the day.
It's not a race.
What's that?
It's not a race. I'm not running to the finish line.
Yeah. But it's, just constantly
Journey. Yeah.
moving your bodies and constantly being able to be better, 1% better each and every day. And being able to strive for that excellence, whatever that looks like. And then each time pushing the boundary just a little bit more to be just a little bit better so that we can be better fathers, better husbands, and better servants of the kingdom of God.
And I think the running in particular, or any other exercise for that matter in particular, definitely does have an advantage in my opinion, my mind over, say, like the other example I used of going back to school. The physical challenge is there's nothing like it. There's nothing that's going to replace that.
Yeah.
You can challenge your mind, and that is an excellent thing to do. You will grow from that. But the physical challenge does both. It challenges your mind and your body at the same time. And I think that is just irreplaceable.
The internal dialogue that happens on those really hard times, on those really hard runs.
Yeah.
It's next level, man.
You get to know yourself really well.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's like, if I couldn't share everything that goes on in my head, but you're fighting against yourself, you're fighting against gravity, you're fighting against everything. Although our bodies were made to walk and to run. So anybody can do this sport. But it's a constant battle of inner dialogue, a constant battle that you're having to fight every single time you get out there. And if you don't train yourself on how to fight, then you will fall flat on your face when the time comes to be able to fight through something.
Yep.
And yeah.
It's true. And it's also an adventure. Going back to what that the book Wild at Heart says, you need a battle to fight, an adventure. Forget exactly what it said, but an adventure. That is a huge aspect of this. Is you don't know what's going to come from what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know what the hope is. You know that you're going to start this run and then you're going to finish.
Yeah.
But you don't actually know what's going to transpire in between all that, or if you are going to finish. That is still kind of an unknown. Something could happen. And that adventure excites us a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Keeps you going.
And it becomes a little obsessive.
It becomes addicting.
Yeah. Yeah. I am obsessive by nature on different things.
Yeah.
And I'm like constantly looking for the next thing, and like I'll push myself. And then, you look at yourself and you doubt yourself, like, oh man, I don't think I'm ready for that. I don't think I'm ready for that. I don't think I'm ready for that. Of course, you're going to say that until you actually sign up and do it.
Yeah.
It's like,
that's a hard line to draw, though, of like, I don't think I'm ready for that. And then being realistic and going, I don't think I should do that.
Yeah.
Like, you talked me out of signing up for a race last night. That was a week after another race that we want to do.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't think that you should do that because they're too close together.
Yeah.
That's a lot of running in a 2-week span. Also, there's a ton of elevation gain with the race that I wanted to do. And it's just, I want to do it. I want to prove to myself that I can.
Yeah.
But there is a line there of, you're going to do more harm than good.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that the only way that you recognize that is through friends, people around you that are there to kind of,
Accountability.
hold you accountable. And through doing those hard things yourself, going on that adventure and going, what am I really capable of?
Yeah.
If I just sign up for a 100-mile race in 3 months or something, that probably is doable, but is it a good decision? I don't think so.
Yeah.
If you haven't been running or something, if you've been training, then that's a totally different topic. But if you think that you're going to train for a 100-mile race in 3 months and do well, I think that you're probably setting yourself up for failure there.
Yeah. No, see, and that's the part that I'm really excited about, because there's this whole lead up to my want.
Yeah.
Right. So like
Desires.
I want to do a 100-mile race, and my mind says I'm ready for it. But I also am telling myself, like, Nate, you've got to enjoy the journey.
Be patient.
You've got to be patient, man. Your time's coming when you're going to get the 100. I'm probably ready now. But I say probably because I don't know. But like, you look at the top of the mountain, you're like, oh man, that 100-miler's up there. I know it's there. But it's like, Nate, you need to run. You need to build up to that. And when you get there, it'll be that much more worth it. And then when I finally do get that 100-miler under my belt, because I really just want the belt buckle. But when I get there, then it's like, okay, now what? Now what's next, right? And then from there, it's like, okay, I'll figure that out when I get there. But right now, let's get the 50-miler knocked out. And then after that, we'll do the 74-miler. And then after that, then we'll hit the 100.
Yeah. I don't know if you'll ever be ready for it. I mean, that's part of the adventure. If you knew that you could do a 100-miler and then you went out just to complete another one, not trying to beat your time or anything, just to do it again, yeah, it's another accomplishment, but you haven't experienced the adventure necessarily, or the battle of it, because you know it can be done.
Yeah.
So, of course, there's got to be some seed of doubt in your mind that goes,
there's plenty of doubt.
Am I ready?
Yeah.
Am I trained enough? Am I going to injure myself? But there's got to be that balance too of not just jumping off the couch, going straight for it.
Yeah.
Because you're just going to set yourself back farther.
Yeah.
There's no sense in, again, we want to do this long term. There's no sense in hurting yourself just to try and prove something to somebody. But that is only learned through experience and practice.
Yeah.
You go out and run 5 miles and you realize that you just died on a 5-mile run. That was terrible. Well, obviously, you're not going to sign up for a 100-mile run.
Right. Yeah.
You just taught yourself that through that adventure. So you got to get out there and do something and start experiencing these things so that you can make good decisions, not just in running, but in life in general.
Yeah.
You have these experiences. They help you make good, wise decisions.
Yeah.
And not be idle.
No, idle. Idle time is the devil's workshop, as they say. So fill your idle time with something productive. If you aren't a runner, I'd like to prove you wrong. I'd like to get out there and actually run with you, even if it is for a mile or 2 miles. But just get out there and move your bodies.
For all the people that say that they hate running,
yeah,
those are typically people that don't run.
Yeah.
To that, I would say, of course you hate running.
Yeah.
If you're not a runner, you don't run, you go try and run even a half a mile, it's going to be miserable. Yeah. It's going to suck. But what did you expect? You don't run and you're trying something new that's physically challenging. Of course it's going to suck. Yeah. So, yeah, I would like to prove you wrong too, but you have to be willing to get past the initial suck, the initial suffering. Mm-hmm. You have to move past that. And then once you can run a mile and it not be absolutely miserable, well, hey, now you're a runner. Yeah. Now it's just slowly growing that.
Yeah. No, that's good. What would we say to somebody who like just absolutely physically cannot run? Like somebody that is, let's say wheelchair bound or
find your thing.
What's that?
Find your thing.
Yeah.
Running isn't it for everybody, and I get that. We've had some feedback from a few people saying, no, you guys are just talking about running a bunch. I'm not a runner. I don't like that. Talk about something else. I get it. Running is just how we relate to a lot of stuff, like you just heard us talk about. That's how we relate to life. But if that's not your thing, that's cool. Find your thing. If you're in a wheelchair, go play wheelchair basketball. I don't know. There's like
Yeah.
a million things that you could do. You could definitely wheelchair race still.
Yeah.
I ran a 10K a couple months back, and there was 2 guys in wheelchairs. One of them freaking beat me.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know if they got a head start. I have no idea what the what the rules were,
Rules are,
if they got to go ahead of us. I don't know. All I know is I saw the dude in front of me on the course, and I could not catch him.
That's awesome.
So
I mean, it's not awesome that he beat you, but that's awesome that
no,
that
it
he's out
is.
there doing
It
it.
is. That guy's crushing it, and that's
Yeah.
awesome for him. I was running my race, and he was rolling his.
Yeah.
And he rolled
I
it
love it.
awesome. Yeah.
I love it.
So I mean, go do your thing. Find something that is physically challenging of you, specifically physically. I think is really important, and go do it. If you can't swim, like if you hate swimming, go take swim lessons and learn how to swim.
Yeah.
That's going to be physically challenging. That's going to be mentally challenging.
And
Heck, you might have a spiritual encounter in
Yeah.
the water there.
well, and the water is like the best thing for people with bad joints.
Yeah.
I mean, it really helps.
Yeah, my dad has an
support your
artificial
body.
hip. He can't run because of that, and knee. I think he's going to turn into Iron Man.
Yeah.
But yeah, I tell him all the time, like go bike or go to the pool and swim.
Yeah.
Because something is better than nothing.
Yeah.
I think we talked about this in a mini episode about our little 4-mile run with your dad.
Yeah.
Your dad's not a runner, but he plays soccer and
Yeah.
rides a bike. Anything is better than nothing. Those things do translate to overall health and overall growth.
Yeah.
And that's the point. Your
Yeah.
dad's not a runner, but because he does other stuff, he was able to run a whole 4-mile race without stopping at any point. He walked a couple of times, but it was very short.
Yeah.
And he essentially ran this whole 4-mile run not being a runner. Well, that's because he's in good shape from doing other things, and he's challenged himself mentally through the years doing other things. So this run was nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, not nothing, but it was like he was prepared for it,
Yeah.
whether he knew it or not.
I think too, kind of bringing some of this all together. If you look back at history, our bodies were designed to work, right? So you think like even 100 years ago, our bodies were designed to work and to do. And you think about even like obviously work. Now we work to earn money, and then the money pays the bills in order to keep the lights on and have a nice house and a car and a truck and all the things, right? Whereas before, people labored in the fields
To survive.
to survive, right? They worked to live.
Yeah.
I mean, we are essentially still working to live, but we essentially now our lives are set up to we kind of live to work, is how a lot of people's lives
Yeah.
are set up now.
And there's money in there in our lives. Money's a part of that.
Right.
Whereas back then, it may not have been. It's literally you're working to feed your family
Yeah.
with the food that you are working on every day,
Yeah.
or the animals that you are caring for.
And there's still people in the world that still live like
Yeah,
that to
absolutely.
this day, but they live a very fulfilled life. They've got way less stress in their lives.
Yeah.
So you've got men now that are having to go to a gym in order to exercise their bodies to now feel better and to have a healthier physique.
Yeah.
That's kind of almost not normal, right? So if you
It
think
shouldn't be.
it
Normal.
shouldn't be,
but it is
Yeah.
now.
it is now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that also plays into why do we run? Because we have to move our bodies now because like I have a physical job, and so I naturally will be moving at work. But for people who sit behind a desk or whatever, you need to have that outlet. Like it's in your DNA to move. You have to move. And so, and when you don't, it shows outwardly. Like we can tell you don't work out, or we can, it is what it is. I call it what it is. But if you don't get out and move and exercise, then
I'm laughing because I'm thinking about the guy from 3 of 7, Chad.
Yeah.
3 of 7 project. If none of you are familiar with that, check them out on YouTube.
yeah, they're awesome.
The guy Chad from that, he's very blunt, and he calls them the fats. He's
Yeah.
like, if you're one of them fats,
Yeah,
get out there and move.
that's true. I mean, it's like to his point, we can tell that you don't work your body.
Yeah. It's obvious.
It's
You're one of the
obvious.
fats.
Yeah. And I mean, I was there once. I get it.
I've been one of the fats.
Yeah.
I didn't
but
like it.
I don't really want to be there anymore. So here I am now sharing, some explicit
Yeah.
details of how I was fat once. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. We're not going to bring that up. But just get out and move your bodies, because that's what we're built to do. So
I
good
agree.
stuff.
That's God created us in His image, and He wasn't some big fat guy sitting behind a computer.
Yep.
That's kind of the America that we've turned into, but that's not the goal. That's not the perfect plan.
No. And I mean, God labored for 6 days, and then on the seventh day he rested. So he proved that he also did a marvelous work by creating us, creating the universe, the stars, the heavens, the plants, the trees, the earth. So God worked. Go out, work your bodies, work your mind, challenge yourself, challenge your mind, and challenge each other. Find a brother, find a sister, and challenge them to do something, and you'll find growth with that. And encourage one another, love one another, and just be good people. Just be good people.
Just be good people.
Yeah.
It is that simple.
Thank you guys again for tuning in to another episode of the Suffer Up podcast with Nate and Ryan. We hope you guys enjoyed this. Please tune in for more. And you can follow us in our link tree with all of our platforms.
Yeah. Sorry, that was a good closing, Nate, but I got to stop you there because I forgot to mention our awesome sponsors.
Oh, yes.
Sofsocs.
Yeah.
If you haven't listened to any of our podcasts yet, then you may not know what we're talking about. If you have listened, you'll be familiar with the company Sofsocs. They make awesome toe socks. They're compression fit and just outstanding quality socks. Where can we find those, Nate? Those are on...
Yes, in our link tree.
Link tree, that's right, yeah.
You can click on it. They're at the very top there. We have them nice and big at the very top. You can click on that.
We got a discount code.
Discount code SUFFER10.
Heck yeah.
So
save some money, get some sweet socks, and get out there and be active.
Yes. So thank you again, Sofsocs, for your partnership and partnering with us here at Suffer Up. We have absolutely loved your socks, and I have several hundred miles now on my socks, and I don't have any holes in them, and they've really helped my feet. So please. What's that?
That's impressive.
Yeah. No, they've been great. I have them on right now, actually. So thank you again, guys, for tuning in to another episode of Suffer Up with Nate and Ryan. Please tune in for more as we drop episodes every Monday morning, and you can find us on all the major platforms. So thank you again for listening, and we appreciate your support and love through this podcast.
Love you guys.